Hello everyone, my name is Mageshwaran and my metric number is 23DLS20F2028. I am from DLS4B. Today I am here to present about industrial relationship. So first of all, let's see what is industrial relation. So industrial relation means a relationship between employee and employees in course of employment in industrial organism. Industrial relation is also used to denote the collective relationship between management and the workers. And also, industrial relation used to cover such an aspect of industrial life as trade unionism, collective bargaining, workers' participation in management, discipline, and industrial disputes. And now let's see the nature of the industrial relationship. It's also concerned with the relationship between management and workers and the role of regulatory mechanism in resolving an industrial disputes. Under the relationship management, they are participant management, employees development, employees remuneration, employee safety, and health. So now let's see the feature of industrial relation. So industrial relation outcome of employee relation in industrial enterprise. This relation cannot exist without the two parties, namely which is employers and employees. Industrial relation system create rules and regulation in organism to maintain uh, harmonious relations. So now let's see the objective of industrial relation. The first one is to raise productivity by reducing tendency of high labor turnover. The second one is to ensure workers participate in management of the company by giving them a fair say in decision making. And the third one is to increase the moral and discipline of the employees in the organization. The fourth one is to safeguard and interest the laborers as well as the management by securing a high level of mutual understanding and goodwill between all sections in industry. And the last one is to avoid all the forms of industrial conflict as to ensure industrial peace by providing better living and working standards for the workers. And the industrial relation in Malaysia normally there are three party systems, which is the three party are involved is employers, employees, and government. So now let's move to the relevant act, which is regard to the industrial relation. So the first one is Trade Union Act 1959. So this Trade Union Act protect workers from being victimized by an employee from joining an union. So Trade Union Act does not allow general unions for workers. Membership of any trade union is confined to only those who are employees of a particular industry, established and trade and occupant. And this act helps in promoting good in industrial relationship and provide rights to improve the workers environment and also the rights to from register and to be a member of the trade union. And the last is rights to organize industrial action in workers. And the second act is the Industrial Relation Act 1967. It is applicable to one Malaysian Act and provide the regulation and relation between employees and workmen or the employees in the organization and their trade union to prevention and settlement trade disputes. This act emphasizes on direct negotiation between employees and their trade union to settle their different and to regulate their collective relationship and to settle any dispute arising therefrom through their own effect and truly mutually agree procedure with minimal government intervention. As this act also provide the procedure relating to submission of claim from organization and scope to the representative of trade union and collective bargaining. Not only that, This act helps in the matter relating to promotion, recruitment, dismissals and transfers, retrenchment, reinstatement and allocation of duties. And moreover, this acts also where direct negotiation between the employees workers and the employee to trade. This act provide for speedy and just settlement of trade. And lastly, this act provide the power to the Ministry of Human Resources to interact and to refer at any stage any trade disputes to the Industrial Court of Arbitration. And the last act is about Employment Act 1955. This act always shall apply to the Peninsula Malaysia only. This acts covering all aspects of employee workers, terminations, working hours, sick leave, benefit, wages and payment. These acts help to provide a number of minimal benefit for the employees who cover in this act, and also to establish certain rights for both employers and employees. Now let's take a look into the role of Ministry of Human Resources in industrial relation. As the first role, they are responsible for administrating and overseeing the industrial relation system. And the second one is to protect the welfare of workers from the part of the safety, health and rights. And the third one is to promote the good employees and employee relationship through a stable and peaceful industry system. The fourth one is to equip the unemployment with basic industrial skill and to improve their skill level of the workforce and to assist in maximizing the country manpower resources through manpower planning. And we can found seven departments in ministry in the Malaysia. The first one is Department of Labor, Peninsula Malaysia. The second one is Department of Labor Sabah, and the third one is Department Labor of Sarawak. The fourth one is Department Labor of Industrial Relation. The fifth one is Department of Trade Union, and sixth one is Department of Occupational Safe and Health. The last department is all about Manpower Department.
What is trade unions? Trade unions are organizations formed by workers from related fields that work for common interests of its members. They help focus in issues like fairness of pay, good paying environment, hours of work, and benefits. They represent a cluster of workers and provide a link between the management and workers. So there is some type of trade unions. First trade union is public sector unions. Public sector unions consist of civil service, the statutory and bodies and the local authorities. In 2003, there are the 211 unions in the sector and include the National Union of Teaching Profession and Malayan Nurse Union. The Trade Union Acts provide that employees in the public sector can only form and join unions whose members are in the same ministry, department, or occupation. This ensures that a discussion are possible with the employer on a logical basis. Wages and other terms of services are discussed at the national level between government and QPEX. From the employees trade union. Employees trade union means employees have equal right to form union which are mostly known as association. Employees union is a response to the large and powerful national trade union of employees. So there is an example of the employees trade union, that's CAPEX, Congress of Unions employees in the public and civil service. The function is to promote the interests and improve the working of its affiliate trade unions, to protect the interests of the affiliate trade unions and their members, to endeavor to improve the condition of employee and of the affiliate trade unions, to promote legislation affecting the interests of the member unions and particularly or trade union in general. Another example is MEEF, Malaysian Employee Federation. The function of MEEF is to carry out research needed by its members, especially for collective bargaining purposes, to carry out wage and benefit service and monitors to consumer price of index, it means CPI, to conduct training for its members on topics relating labor legislation and IR matters. Also, to provide industrial relations service to its members by representing them at the industrial court, advising them during the collective bargaining process and giving any other assistance requested by its members. Another example of union is in-house union. Is a trade union whose members are all employed by the same employer in the same place of employment. Like for example, Telecom Berhad Union, um, Tenaga National Union, possibility of exploitation by employer, and Union Financial Strength limit its union activities. So the advantage of in-house unions is they are more appreciative of the situation in their workplace and workplaces and problems of an employer and are less influenced by outsider. The next one is close relation between employer and union will lead to more peacefully industrial relations and cooperative spirit develop will lead to higher productivity. So the disadvantage of in-house union is generally weak because membership is limited and confined to workers in another particular company. And also leaders are chosen from a small number of members and is give rise to possibility exploitation by employer. Another one is union financial strength limit is its union activities. Reason why workers join in a trade. It's a proof that workers who are trade union members can earn more than non-unionized workers. Trade unions use their collective muscle to bargain for better salaries, pensions, holidays, health insurance, and sick pay, overtime, and more. Trade unions are hammer out negotiations with management to get the best possible deal for employees, so you don't have to. The next one is improve employees' terms and condition of service, gives employee the collective strength to negotiate to, for better terms from employer, give them a voice to express their needs to the government too. The next one is employees may be influenced to join show solidarity with their fellow workers and intense peer pressure to become a member, particularly if the union is at the crucial stage for applying for recognition. The next one is employees expect union to protect their rights, to protect them from exploitation and unfair treatment at work.
After knowing about the title, now let's have a look at the definition. Industrial action refers to any measure taken by trade unions to reduce productivity in the workplace. Industrial action is official if it's formally backed by the trade union and members of that union are taking part in it. If you're involved in industrial action against your employer, you'll probably be in breach of your employment contract and you are therefore unlikely to be paid, often taking industrial action. Hello everybody, my name is Kumar and PANJANATHAN from DLS4B and my matrix number is 23 DLS 20 2006. Today we are here to talking about industry relation, and this is the continuous of industrial action in organization. In industrial relation, there are totally three methods of industrial action. First of all is picket by employee, strikes by employee, and also lockout by employer. Now let's look more into picket. Picket by an employee. It is lawful for employees to attend at or near their workplace when they have trade dispute for the process of peacefully giving information to public and other employees, persuade other employees and not to work if strike has been declared. As well there are do's, there are also nots. Now first of all is, however, such picketing must not intimidate anyone, obstruct the attendance or the exit to the organization, and must be peaceful. Third of all is, picketing can be done through prominent display of banner and placards with derogatory comments about employer, by requesting passerby to show their support by pressing their vehicle horns, and by willingness to give information to mass media which will turn public to a dispute. And these are the examples of picketing. And now let's have a look at strikes by employee. Strike means cessation of a work by a body of workmen acting in combination, and also employees refuse to continue to the work with intention to result in limitation, reduction, cessation, and desultories in the performance of their work. An action by union members who refuse in the work order to exert pressure on management or negotiations, or a concerted refusal under a common understanding of a number of workmen to continue to work or to accept employment. This includes any act of omission, an acting combination by a body of workmen acting in combination, or also can be told as
under a common understanding which is intended to or does result in any limitation, restriction, reduction or cessation of or distortion in the performance or execution of the whole or any part of the duties connected with their employment. In simple words, strike can be told as stopping of work by a group of employees including any attempt to limit or slow down production. And second is employee refuse to continue to work with the intention to result in limitation, reduction, cessation, and deleterious in the performance of their work. As we are on the same page on talking about strike, there are also a lot of types of strike. First of all is called wildcat strike, second is called the sympathy strike, and the third is the jurisdictional strike. And last but not least, lockout by an employer. First of all, lockout is called closing of a place or an employment to suspense of work, or it is also a refusal by an employer to continue to employ any number of employees employed by him in furtherance of a trade dispute, done with a view to compel those employees to accept terms and conditions of an employment. Let's look more into what is actually lockout means. Employers have the right to restrict their workers from entering premises or workplace to force them to accept the employer's demand. And the second is the management decision to keep on union workers out to the workplace and run the operation with the management personnel and or replace workers to encourage the union to return to the bargaining table. And fourth is employer will not allow employees to work until the dispute between them is solved, which means closing the workplace until they agree to the work condition imposed. And last but not least, it is the legal requirements for lockout are similar to the strike, as we saw before. And these are the pictures of showing what does how lockout means. And that is all from me today. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Karthik and my matrix number is 23DLS20F 2016. Today I am here to talk about the definition of industrial dispute organization and also the four procedure following. Now I would like to explain about definition. As the slide showed, misunderstanding and conflicts between workers and employers are sometimes unavoidable due to the difference of the goals and objective of both parties. And also this condition is called industrial dispute. Industrial dispute means any dispute between an employer and one or more workers or between workers and workers which relates to the terms and condition of employment. The physical condition in which workers are required to work the employment and non-employment is the social and economic interests of the workers but does not include any matter concerning the interpretation of this act. A collective arrangement of contract of employment in any matter which by agreement between the parties to be collective agreement. Now I would like to talk about direct negotiation, which is the one of the procedure in dispute organization. Negotiation between the trade union and the employer is conducted according to the procedure stipulated in the company or policies or collective agreement. And also only the trade union and employers will be involved in the process of solving an argument without involvement of an outsider, which means outsider is not allowed to be directly involved in this conversation or issue or whatever. And also usually they sit together in calm and respectful manner, which is very important, and we need to follow the discipline by the rules. And also the Director General of Trade Union, which means DGTU, cannot force both sides to make peace if the direct negotiation is failure. If the direct negotiation is a failure, there are other ways to do it, but either one people need to make a peace or either they both, if they refuse, they cannot solve the issue. Now I would like to talk about there are also some point in direct negotiation which is it's a technique process at the beginning of the ADR spectrum. It is often a good starting point to see if a conflict can be resolved without needing to use mediation, abbreviation or court elimination. In direct negotiations, the party may or may not assisted by a professional neutral who is trained at facilitating communication to achieve a resolution. Through the direct negotiation, the parties collectively retain complete control over the process and its outcome. Together, and the parties specify the ground rules and schedule to select the professional neutral and establish procedure for when and how they communicate, listen, and respond. They may use their own individual negotiation style and strategies, decide whether to gather outside information or consult experts to help resolve the case. But the one who making the decision in the end, the process at any time is not binding ADR process. Now I would like to talk about conciliation. Conciliation usually a third party, which means most commonly neutral but not required, helping the parties work out their difference and may suggest or even console other parties and or outside professional like accountant, doctor, insurance adjuster, and many more. Now, the main point is when the process of solving arguments throughout direct negotiation is a failure, the employees and trade union can report to the DGTU, which I explained just now. The DGTU will suggest them to hold a meeting of peace to solve the arguments which was set up by ours. And it's also a process whereby Industrial Relation Department, which is a IR department, will help to solve the arguments between both sides. And also discretion, but it's not a binding process in this conciliation unless the parties reach an agreement. Arbitration is usually, this method is used for and after the previous three methods have been failure, because these first three methods are mostly important in this process. If they manage to fail the three of them, then this arbitration of method we will be come up with. And it is also similar to method of using mediation. Arbitration method also use the third party, which is in industrial court. The decision of the industrial court is binding on all parties involved. A third party neutral or panel or neutrals who make a decision on the dispute based on the information from the parties or their legal counsel will write an award, which depending on the parties' agreement may be binding and enforceable in a court of law. Thank you very much. This is my points.